Hey everyone, hello. It feels like years since I've connected with you all. My gosh, it feels like a whole year's been packed into January, hasn't it? That's how it feels to me anyway, but oh my gosh, I just wanted to get on here and connect with you all and say hi and how you going. Let me know how you're traveling at the beginning of this year of intense energies. And oh my god, it has been crazy. I've been at my cauldron of creation, bubbling away. No, I have been doing a lot of creating, a lot of behind the scenes stuff, a lot of the inner work. I've been really just in my contemplation mode and reflection and really thinking, I guess, about what I want my world to look like this year. And I'm sure for a lot of you, you're feeling the same. And so I wanted to just jump on here and talk about a little bit about the power of disruption, because we see that on the planet now, the power of disruption, the frequency of disruption. And it's a really powerful frequency that we do not utilize enough, and we don't utilize it in, I guess, the best and highest use for that frequency, because everything has a shadow frequency to it. So we can use disruption in a way of violence and destroying everything and setting everything on fire and having all this upheaval. Like, we can create in that way, or if we're using it in a powerful way, we can literally build a new world, a new planet, a new business, a new lifestyle for ourselves based upon the frequency of disruption. And this is something, I've been a disruptor all my life, and yet I didn't really recognize it until, much later in life, I guess. And meaning, when you're a disruptor, you'll do things that piss people off. You'll do things that don't make sense. You'll do things that people go, why can't you just conform, basically? Why just can't you do like what everyone else is doing? Why do you have to have a different opinion? Why do you have to be the one who questions something, right? And so it's only really later in life that I would consciously start doing that. When I was younger, I was such a people pleaser. And I know a lot of people, a lot of my clients are the same. They're real people pleasers, and wanting to conform and be the good girl and do the right thing and be the nice girl. And so I was that all the time until my buttons were pushed too much. And then I became the disruptor, but I was using it in a way that was sort of lashing out, I guess, instead of using it in a positive way to start with. And so I use it a lot now. I use it consciously, but I also use it unconsciously, that it's just part of me now, that the true disruption energy is one of breaking and disrupting patterns and programs, things that we blindly follow and accept and conform to just because we always have, or just because your parents did, or because your teachers said that was the way, or you did a business coaching program and they told you that's how you do it. Whatever it might be, big or small in life. And then for worldwide experiences, we look at that energy of disruption. If we're willing to disrupt our belief about something, or a pattern or a story or a program, and we're ready to disassemble it, and we're ready to be the one who stands in our power and says, I just don't agree with that. It's not about being violent or, starting to come to blows. It's just, I don't agree with that. And I believe it is this way. This is the world I'm creating. So we're moving out of this energy of one where we're recycling frequencies. See, a lot of the time what we do, because we don't want to fully be the person who disrupts and who, doesn't agree with everyone and wants to do something differently. And we've got a bit of a foot in each world. We're still being the people pleaser, but we're also being the big, out there tough person, rebel, but we're not really. And so we live between these two worlds, and what we end up doing is we're just recycling frequencies and energies. So we think we're building something new, a new system or a new way of looking at it. If we look at it in world terms, we're looking at it from someone who tries to, from the education system, fix it, or add things to it. It's just recycled energy, right? It's not going to fix anything. It's just like adding a band-aid to it. And it's the same with everything. If we're not willing to build a completely new structure and new system upon different beliefs and rules and opinions and programs and stories, if we're not willing to look outside of the recycled programs, then we stay exactly where we are. It might make ourselves feel a little bit better, but we're not really. And so when we apply this to our own life, when we're willing to disrupt things, when we're willing to go, you know what, I'm making a stand and I don't want this thing anymore. I want this to change. I want more money. I want a healthier body. I want to be the superhuman leader that I know I came here to freaking be. And I can't be that if I continue to be in the recycled soup of old frequencies and old systems and old structures and old programming and old stories. If I continue to be in that, nothing really shifts or changes. It's just the appearance that it's changed and shifted. It's the same with, we look at what's happened in America right now. It's a new government, but it's still based upon the old patriarchal principles. Okay, so if we continue, you can shift something, you can change it, and it might look better and it might be a little bit better, but it's still the same. Okay, it's like making a cake that's all burnt and crusty, and you just pile it full of beautiful frosting and icing and make it look good, but it's still dry and revolting on the inside. Right? So we're here to disrupt that. We're here to start making a stand in our own lives and being willing to bring in and tap into this frequency of disruption. I think if we look back in history, two of the biggest disruptors in history are actually Jesus and the Buddha. And now people would be up in arms like, oh my God, that's horrifying. But it's like, because they're thinking of disruption in the term of what mass society and consciousness get you to think of disruption, in the sense that it's something that's hurting or harming or destroying in some way. But disruption is actually a pattern interrupter. It breaks and awakens the person out of their fog, out of their stupor, out of the old programming and stories, and it wakes them up. It totally wakes them up. And so when we look at that, we can see that it can be heart-centered, it can be loving, it can be compassionate and kind to be the disruptor. And Jesus very much was that. In a time where people believed very different things, he was coming there speaking about all these new things that people were like looking at him like, what are you on about? What are you talking about? Yet he stood in the power of his soul, of his superhuman self, and he continued to trust in that because he was building a new world of belief, a new world of opinion, of the story about how he gets to feel, how he gets to be in the world, how other people get to be in the world. And so he stayed true to that in compassion, in his heart, but he disrupted. Make no bones about it, he was a disruptor. And the same with the Buddha, who was willing to reject the wealth of his family. He rejected it to build a new world for himself, not based upon what other people were telling him. He went out and looked for himself and wanted to change that. And if we're going to really be these superhuman leaders, and we're going to be the people, the change makers, that make a difference on the planet, we have to start in our own world, and we have to be willing to tap into the frequency of disruption, because that is going to change everything for you. When you're willing to look at something and pull it to pieces and go, why am I really believing that thing? Why am I believing that about myself? Or why am I believing this about my life, that this is the only way? This is the only path for me? Or why am I believing that to be true, that that's the only way I can make money or create money in my life is this thing? And you start pulling it apart and disrupting the patterns of everything. That's truly standing in your power as a superhuman, friggin' amazing divine being of light, because that's what you are. And if you really want to tap into that this year and start making headway, and I mean really making headway into building a brand new world for yourself, that's a whole new reality of what you never thought possible, then you've got to be willing to discard and disrupt all of those old systems and structures, and don't fall into the habit of being in that recycling phase. Just recycling the same concepts in a different way. Oh, maybe if we dress it up this way, it'll look different. Oh, maybe if we put a different figurehead here, it'll look different. No, it won't, because it's still built upon the same principles and foundation that got you to where you are. So you've got to be willing to discard that and disrupt it. And so really that's my message for you today, is to start thinking about that, looking at it, and looking at ways. And this isn't about being disruptive just for the sake of it, okay? You're not out there being a tool running around, just disrupting things to be annoying. This is really about tapping into soul and going, why am I believing this thing? Why am I still doing this thing when I don't want to do it, and yet I've done it for years? And look, we can bring this back to the most simple things in life. Everything starts with simple things, okay? When we look at our life, it could be something as simple as going to holiday or going camping to the same place for 20 years because your family did. And you're going, you know what? I don't even like this place, but we've always done it. We've always done it. Well, maybe you need to be a pattern interrupter and start disrupting the energy and going, you know what, I want to create something new. I want to build a new tradition. I want to build a new story, a new reality, a new world. And so, it starts with simple things in your life. Start thinking about that. What are you doing or have been doing just because you've always done it? And you've never really questioned it, just because your family always did it or someone always did it, and you've probably always done it. But you're thinking, why am I still doing this? Why? Okay, so that's the energy of disruption I want you to connect to, because we are seeing it on the planet, but we want to use it in a powerful way. This is going to completely transform your money story. It's going to completely transform your mind, your body, everything about your reality when you're willing to let go of things that other people have installed in you. And they have. Society, family, everyone's installed these things, this software within us. And now it's time for an upgrade, and we've got to be willing to go, why am I believing this? Do I still believe it? Do I really? If I am a divine being of light, a superhuman leader on this planet, do I really believe that to be true about myself or my business or my clients or what's possible for me? Do I really believe that? And then start creating something new. Okay? Because I certainly am. I am in creator mode, as I said, months in the making, the redoing of my beautiful Destiny Wealth vortex codes and archetypes, and it's been brutal. It's been so big, bringing in new content and expanding upon it, and that is finally finished. So if you haven't done the quiz and you haven't purchased the Destiny Wealth vortex, from next week you will be able to do that again, because it was taken down while I redid everything. And you'll be able to read the book, the ebook that I wrote within that, which is the ultimate guide to becoming rich, hot, and superhuman. And that's part of the Destiny Wealth Vortex, which you'll be able to purchase from next week. So yay. So let's all tap into this disruption energy, everyone. Okay? Connect to soul, connect to your superhuman self. Choose what you really want, not what you've been installed with. I love you guys. Let me know how you're going, and I'm going to connect with you again really soon. Have an amazing day and weekend. Bye.